What's up, guys? On the Fly with you live tonight, live on all the On the Fly social media. And tonight we got something special in store for you. We're starting a little series here. We were fortunate enough to hook up with Nicole at Brickshore Media, and she hooked us up with some interviews with some up and coming country music stars. And these guys are getting their foot in the door, and they're on their way to being superstars here. And with us tonight, leading off that series, is none other than the Ozark Renegade, straight out of Nashville, Tennessee, Mr. Justin Kaleb. What's up, buddy?
Hey, man. You doing all right?
Yes, sir. How's everything going tonight?
Great. Beautiful
How's,
day.
yeah. Is the weather in Tennessee like it in North Carolina, where it changes like you change your drawers?
Yeah, pretty much. Today it was heavenly.
Yeah, today has been like I think it was in the 70s. Tomorrow, to Thursday's supposed to be in the 80s, and I think in Saturday it's going to be back down in the 40s. So I mean,
Gonna start snowing again by Saturday.
probably so, probably so. But I hope we don't. We haven't seen much snow here in North Carolina this year. We've seen some flurries, but knock on wood, and that's still February, so you can still we get some bigger snows in February, March. So still
It's
could happen. But
just Mother Nature mourning the end of college football season.
all right, now college football fan, are you a Tennessee fan?
I'm a Razorback.
Razorback, Arkansas.
Yeah.
That's right. You're out. You're from Arkansas originally.
Season ticket holder growing up, where I grew up right down the road from the stadium, got married across the street from the stadium on a Sunday so I could take my bachelor party to the game Saturday night.
Now that's a dedicated football fan. I do a sports podcast too. I'm a big time football fan. Football's my love. I'm a football coach.
Oh,
So
brother.
yeah, it's the football. All right, pro football. Who's your team?
I pull for the Titans Pro, but that's more of a hangover cure for Saturday, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Tennessee's not Tennessee. I don't know what happened to Tennessee this year. Tennessee started off really, really good, and I think you just I think Tannehill has run his course in Tennessee.
Man, every time I think that, though,
He
he
comes
ends
up
up
with something.
trouble with Todd Downing. I think offensive philosophy was they were on the struggle bus.
Yeah.
Injuries.
Oh yeah.
My boy Traylon Burks was out most of the year. If he wasn't out, undefeated Super Bowl champion, crown him.
That's always that big if. I always say that I'm a Steelers fan, so I was like, if this would have happened this year, we'd have made the playoffs. If this would have happened, we'd have won the Super Bowl. But
Yeah,
now
I know.
that Super Bowl game, were you pulling for Chiefs or you a Chiefs man that night? Not a
No, I just wanted a good game. I wanted them
It was a
Kelsey
good
brothers to
game.
get in the fight. That's what I wanted. That's why I was watching.
It was a good game. It come down to the end. Unfortunately, it comes down to a call at the end, and you don't like. Technically it was a hold, but at that part of the game, no more than it did. I was like, nah, you can't call that at this part. I would like to see
Yeah,
what would have happened if they hadn't called that. But
yeah. It's that ref's got
I'm sure he's got some depth.
some yeah, but he's also got some guts, I guess, to actually
Yeah.
throw that thing.
All right. Speaking of the Super Bowl, Chris Stapleton's national anthem. What'd you think?
Man, I thought it was the best or the second best national anthem that I'd ever heard.
Yeah.
If it's second, it's only second to Leanne Womack's. That she sang the national anthem somewhere a while ago. I can't tell you even what game it was, but it was perfect.
Perfect. Wow. I
She's
thought he did a
perfect
great
anyway.
job. Chris Stapleton is like, one of my favorites, but I mean, to see the Eagles coach over there, tears streaming down his
Ryan,
eyes, and then
yeah,
several other players looking at, yeah, I thought he did a great job. It was, it
yeah,
was, it was simple, but it was Chris Stapleton. I mean, he couldn't
yep,
go wrong there. All right, so now that we've got through the sports talk tonight, we'll actually get into what we came here to talk about.
yeah,
Talk about Justin Kaleb's music. All right, so you grew up in Arkansas, like you said.
yeah.
Growing up, what music did you listen to? What were some of the people you listened to?
I got really into punk rock and hardcore and metal, all things aggressive. As a young teenager, probably 12 or 13 years old. It's country music was, and like Southern rock and stuff was just kind of, we're just kind of born into it because like
Right.
everybody listened to it anyway. So
Yeah.
it wasn't a conscious, like I didn't have to try to listen to Brooks and Dunn or Garth Brooks or something. Like it was like I didn't have to seek that stuff out.
Right.
Whenever I started seeking music out, I gravitated toward that kind of stuff, heavier stuff. And um, by the time I turned 16, 15 or 16, I don't, somewhere around there, uh, Hank 3 and Shooter Jennings both put out, um, Hank 3 put out Straight to Hell and Shooter put out Put the O Back in Country. And both of those records changed my life simultaneously. And the trajectory of music that I was on just went whoop, because I didn't relate to anybody in the sense that I was into this aggressive stuff and had long hair and I I don't know. It just, I saw Hank 3 and Shooter Jennings with long hair and tattoos singing this awesome
Yeah.
country music, and I felt like, okay, I feel like I can relate with these guys in a way. So I
Yeah. So
took the
that,
long way around there to answer that, but
well, Dad, I'll tell you this. Back when I was a kid at that age, I was into, look, I did not want to hear country music at that age, at 12, 13. I'm a huge Kiss fan. And I was like, country music came on the radio. I was like, oh, I'm turning it. But that all changed for me, when Garth Brooks started. When I heard Garth Brooks the first time, I was like, what is this? And listen to him. And then I started getting back into like the old country, like Hank Williams Jr., the Johnny Cash, stuff like that. And then from there on, country music has been like one of my favorites out there. I listen to a lot of country music. So your influences, like you said, Hank 3, Shooter Jennings would be some of them. Any other influences?
yeah, I mean, that I wouldn't even call like Hank 3 in influence, like as an artist today. But he influenced me as a 16-year-old,
Right,
um today. I mean, I like a lot of guys. I like Brent Cobb a lot.
right,
um Everything Tyler Childers has been doing for like, God, I honestly like everything that he's ever done. I
right.
mean, I remember trying to set up a show with him. I was talking to his manager years ago, and he said, Tyler's not doing shows right now. He's in the studio cutting a record. And that record ended up being Purgatory, which exploded. But
Yep.
he, I heard this dude's music somehow from out east and thought it was cool. And he was very approachable at the time. But, I like what Jason Isbell's doing.
Right.
Bands like Blackberry Smoke, I like them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, on
So
and on and on.
yeah. So when did you know that this is what you wanted to do? I mean, when did you know? First of all, when did you start playing? When did you start picking up a guitar, start playing?
I have no idea, man. It's just like I was just kind of, my dad's a picker, my mom's a piano player, she was a piano teacher. Uh, my brother's forgotten more about music than I'll ever know. My sister's the most beautiful vocalist, that I've probably ever heard. Um, Dude, I don't know. I was just born into
Born
this
into it.
bubble of music, and I can't tell you some kind of come to Jesus moment that I had where I decided that I wanted to do it. I just
Right.
as soon as everybody started getting bigger than me, and I was like, man, I'm tired of breaking bones on the football field. What else is there? Like, it was just natural. Like, I immediately just started writing my own songs and finding places to play. Like, as a kid, like I would play shows as like a 12-year-old.
Wow.
Like I did like hip hop stuff and just whatever a 12-year-old was into. I was just trying to play music,
Yeah, I hear you.
So
Yeah, you talked about writing songs that early. How hard was it to write that first song? I mean, was it? Do you remember the first song you wrote?
no.
I mean, as far as putting a song together, what is the process there for you? I mean, do you come up with the idea and just go from there?
Well, songwriting used to be very easy for me. The more that I learn about writing, the harder that it becomes. Now it's very hard for me to write. It it takes me a while because I don't like throwaway lines. I don't even like throwaway words. Um, so and it's honestly songwriting. I heard a quote from somebody, some human being. They said, I I don't like writing. I like having written.
Right.
And that's how I don't enjoy writing. It takes a lot for me to pick up the pen and to do it, but I love having done it.
Right.
Um,
That makes sense.
the
Makes
the process is the it's hard for me to write anything that's not heavy, like content wise these days. So yeah, I mean I've got files and files and files on my computer of just heavy content that just will never see the light of day
right.
because it ends up just a lot of it ends up just being kind of like journal entries for me.
Okay. Well, looking at the comments over here, we got some comments coming in, and we got a Casey Childress to say a cousin, and I'm guessing she's talking to you because I don't think she's my cousin. Then
Yep,
there's
yep.
Kelly Drigger is saying mama in the house.
That's mama. Yep,
So
yep.
welcome, appreciate you guys tuning in, and they said they're all proud of you. Destiny Childress, is that your sister?
That's my sister-in-law. You're
Okay,
gonna have a lot of family popping in these comments. Just fair warning, man.
that's fine. I'm glad to see them in here. Glad
I
to see
love
them in
doing these things because I get family starts popping up. Like, man, that's awesome. Hey, everybody, I love y'all.
here.
That's so
Yep.
fun.
So you make the move to Tennessee. How hard was that for you to do? I mean,
It's hard. It was really hard. The first time it was really hard. Um, we've My wife and I got married at 21 or 22. I don't really remember right now. But we got married and pretty much immediately moved out here and that was I was homesick before I even hopped in the truck,
yeah, I can imagine.
The second time, we moved back home for a few years. Um, I was playing in like Texas and Oklahoma a lot and stuff. And we're like, man, let's just go home for a while and just kind of regroup. We have the means to do it right now. We don't have any kids. Just go back for a while. And then the second time that we came back, which is the current time we're in, was just all business from the word go. I didn't spend too much time moping around or anything. I'd moved before. I moved back home and I knew where I needed to be. So it was like, let's go, buckle up. And bought a house, and then the pandemic hit like 3 months
Now,
after.
how hard was that? You know, because I talked to a lot of artists. What kind of? I mean, how hard was COVID on you? I mean, because it was tough on everybody, but especially artists like you trying to get out, do shows, do stuff like this. How hard was COVID on you?
Kind of debilitating,
Yeah,
to be
I can
honest with you.
imagine.
Just I was making a lot of traction locally, especially on the east side of town in East Nashville. Getting my foot in the door in places that were goals of mine before that I moved here, particular places, and just out of nowhere, that all just zoop
I
gone.
mean that was just like you said, a good word, debilitating for because there was no, if you had, like you said, you had momentum, and a lot of people had momentum at the time, and it just cut it off just like that. It's
Yeah, and I mean, I would try to. I mean, shoot, we didn't know anything about the thing. We were like
right.
worried about killing somebody's grandma or something. Like, I don't know what to do. So you try to make plans, and you try to salvage whatever you can, and then end up, you or somebody got exposed to this virus that you don't know anything about. So, all right, well, I guess we gotta like quarantine for like 2 weeks. Um, and then it was just, that's why this record, it took forever,
Right.
because it was smack during COVID and none of us knew anything about it. So we were just like, I don't know. I mean, I guess I was just hanging out with this person who now, is sicker than heck with COVID. I guess I gotta like isolate for 2 weeks, and
Did you
just,
ever have it?
I've had it
Yeah.
twice, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I had it once. It was pretty rough when I had it. That it's rough because
It's a
I
weird one, isn't it?
yes,
It's
I
a
mean it's
weird.
nothing you can predict. It's nothing you can predict because I'll tell you, the first day I got diagnosed with it, I was driving home from the doctor, and they had told me, back you had to isolate for like 10 days, and that was all he told me. I mean, he couldn't tell me what to do. I mean,
And
there was
none of us
no
knew nothing about. Yeah.
exactly. So I was like, okay, the worst thing about this is going to be I've got to stay inside. I've got to isolate myself for 10 days. I
Yeah.
said, I can deal with that. And the first night, not a problem. Let me tell you, the second night, the good Lord said, "Guess what, buddy? I'm gonna." It showed me too, because that I lost like 20 pounds in a week, and it was horrible. But I made out a lot better than a lot of people, because a lot of people didn't make it. But hopefully, fingers crossed, we don't have to go through that again. Hopefully,
Yeah.
everything's going to get back to normal. It's pretty much back to normal now in some ways, but um, talk about going and recording. We talked a little bit before we went on the air. We were talking about an older album that you did that's on Apple Music, recording at Muscle Shoals. That's kind of a legendary recording place down there. What did it feel
Yeah.
like going in there recording at Muscle Shoals?
It was cool, man. I didn't know a thing about the Shoals when I went there. And this sounds, man, this sounds about, as hippie as it comes, but like, I I crossed the Tennessee River for the first time, rolling into the show, into the shoals, and I don't know if a weight is the right word. Maybe it is. Um, I definitely felt a thing, knowing nothing about the area.
Right.
Um, Maybe I was just feeling the energy from the river or something. But dude, I don't remember much of nothing. I can't probably tell you what I ate for breakfast, or what color socks I'm wearing. But I remember that feeling crossing the river, like, this is a special place, and I'm embarking on a pretty great adventure, and I have no idea what I'm doing right now. It was great. It was pretty humbling too. I mean, I'd hired session players, and those guys just, charted out the whole record in probably 20 minutes. And I can't even tell you what key I'm in, even to this day. Like I can't read music. I can't tell you nothing. And I'm sitting here trying to act like I belong with these dudes. And not to mention the guy producing the record was the singer of my favorite band in the world at the time. So I'm like, oh man, just, smile pretty, act
So
like
I
you.
mean, but going in there too, did you ever think, you're sitting there, I'm recording an album. I mean, did you ever think, you ever look back and think, this is hard for me to believe, it's surreal. I'm sitting here recording an album.
Not really, because I'd recorded albums before, and the man, I'm not really good at living in the moment. I'm a
Right.
natural pessimist, kind of skeptic. So I never I've got a bad habit of not letting myself get too excited about things
Okay.
in the moment. And then I'll look back on it later as a memory and be like, man, that was so cool. But I'm not feeling those feelings at the time. I'm like,
Right.
put on my boots, like, all right, it's time to punch the clock. Let's go to work. Um, I'm sure there were moments. It's been so long since that record, but I'm sure there were moments when I just looked around and thought, man, uh, been a lot of really amazing people in this very studio doing what I'm doing right now.
Exactly. There's a who's who been in that studio
Hmm.
that you're doing what you're doing with. Um,
Hmm.
so you you've got a unique sound. A lot of people, like we said, compare it to Tyler Childers is one of the things you talked to, and we talked a little bit. Like I went back and unluckily I'm not on the Spotify. I checked out Apple Music, but there was one song that I listened to on Homesick Blues that 6 p.m. that you wrote that song, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I listened to it again last night, and I was sitting there listening to the lyrics, and I was like, man, this is an epic. And what I like, a lot of your songs tell stories. There's some of them that are just feel good songs, but a lot of these songs tell stories. That one right there tells a very, very dark, sad story. But if you guys are out there listening right now, you want to check this out on Apple Music, check out Justin Kaleb, Homesick Blues on Apple Music. Check out 6 p.m. It's 6 minutes long. When I saw it was 6 minutes long, I said, this is going to be good. It's got to tell a story. And man, did it. How? I mean, do you remember writing 6 p.m.?
No.
I
No.
I didn't know if it was something that inspired that to come to your head or what.
I was probably listening to a lot of Chris Knight and reading a lot of Flannery O'Connor.
Okay.
Be honest with you. Um, uh, yeah, that's a dark one, man.
Yeah.
I don't know why I wrote it or even really when I wrote it. Uh, I remember tracking the demo for it just in our little apartment at the time. But I really
Yeah.
have no memory of that.
That's a pretty good. That's a pretty good song. So you also did, and we'll talk. I'll let you elaborate a little bit on the work doing the one with the Ozark Renegades. How was that?
Yeah,
That's a little bit more recent.
yeah, that was so fun. That was some of the funnest times of my life. Um, those are my boys from Arkansas, and then the guy that played bass for me is my best friend. He lives out in Kittrell, which is right outside of Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And man, we were just having fun. It was the first time that I'd, you know, done short runs and extensive shows with a band, uh, with my own stuff. And man, we just let it rip.
I've got to
It
go
was
back and
so
listen
much
to that.
fun.
That one. That's one I'm going to have to check out on
It's a
Spotify.
rock record for more or less. There's definitely country in it, But man, that's a rock and roll record.
Right. You still got
So
you got
fun.
you still got a lot more comments coming in. Some new people have popped in. Alice Ward said, "So proud of you, Justin. Your music is amazing."
It's my
And then,
Aunt Alice.
yeah, Bo
She's the
Drigger.
best storyteller. Aunt Alice is the best storyteller. I'm not kidding. And we still talk about, me and my brother talk to this day about Aunt Alice's stories. Probably the best storyteller that I know personally.
You need to hit Aunt Alice up for some song ideas.
Dude,
Yeah,
she's
she
got
got
them. I
good
know she
stories.
does.
Hey, good stories make good songs too.
Oh, I know. One of these days, maybe I'll write down some of the stuff that she's told. I had to shoot her some royalties for it because they'll be her ideas.
Yeah, and Bo Driggers said we need to work on your memory.
Yes, we do, Bo. Yes, we do, buddy.
So now you've got a new single that's just come out called Shaky Hand.
Yeah.
And talk a little bit about Shaky. I'll listen to it. It's got a great hook, upbeat song. It sounds like a country hit.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
That song's funny because my buddy Darren King, he's who produced this record. I was over at his house and he was like, "Hey man, listen to this song that I'm working on." It was a practice. Like he was just practicing. He was trying to rhyme every word, every last word of every line needed to be an I rhyme. And it was just a writing exercise. And I was like, man, that's a fun one, bro. And he's like, you think? And I'm like, yeah, like let's finish it together. Let's sit down and give this some attention. This is cool. And yeah, we sat down and just finished it. And there's personal truth in there. There's
Yeah.
Truth of people that we know, just kind of collectively. We've all got our vices, and I thought it was a fun way to wrestle with kind of the weight of those questions. We all feel those questions.
Yeah.
We're not all courageous enough to actually ask them. So that was important to me to like publicize that.
Right. And it's definitely a catchy song. And that just came out the 10th? Yeah, February 10th. Came out.
Yeah.
Have you heard any how the reception's going on it?
Good.
It
People
should
seem
be.
to like it. Yeah.
So we will. Have you got your guitar close by?
I do.
You feel like playing something?
I'll let her rip, man. What do you want to hear?
Play something real quick. Whatever you want to. You play real quick, and then we'll come back and ask you a few more questions, and we'll let you out of here.
Well, I don't
want anybody not to hear you up here.
I can play the single, man. I can play Shaky Hand right here.
Can you hear it? Now. Let's hear
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, you fine. Sound good.
Well, I got a problem, I think I might. Started somewhere on the county line. It's a shaky hand or a shaky mind. So I give my feel both day and night. Ground leaves slow green, feel the sky. Get me low, get me high. 'Cause I never am quite satisfied. Times I see, times I'm blind. I'm gonna drown, I'm gonna fly another round, another line. I say it's fun, I say it's fine, but it's a quicksand bed that'll take me life. 1, 2, 3, lights. Did he give him sin like he gave his wife? If I partake in thy flight, is a part of the plan of the great divine. And I'm gonna fly, I'm gonna ride, I'm gonna ride. I say it's fun, I say it's fine. It's a quicksand, baby, take a ride. It's a 1, 2, 3 on the road of life. Right and wrong ain't black and white. Is it wrong to question why? Do we just live, then we die? Or is it all a waste of time? I'm gonna drown, I'm gonna fly another round, another line. I say it's fun, and I say it's fine. It's a quicksand bed that'll take your life. It's a 1, 2, 3 on a roll of the dice.
Like I said,
Right.
man, that's catchy. I like it. I like
Thanks, man. Thank you.
And we will be including that single on the podcast. We'll have the MP3 of it out there for you guys to listen to. And before I let you go, we're gonna talk. Well, I'm gonna ask these little quick hitting questions. You answer best you can. If you had the chance to collaborate with anyone to do whether it's write or sing, play with anyone in the music business, who would it be?
Leanne Womack.
Wow, she said it twice today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, favorite song, if you had to pick one.
Um,
And that could change week by week. I know it does with me.
Hour by hour. Yeah. Let's do Great Southern Trendkill by Pantera right now, this instant.
Pantera coming in the house. There you go. Now you said you were a metal guy. You were a metal guy back when you were a kid. I'm sure you still listen to it. Pantera getting ready to go back out on tour, of course. Dimebag and Vinny are no longer with us, but one of the, and we're going to get a little bit off country for a minute. I hope you don't mind because I'm big into this stuff. One of the best guitar players, I feel like, my favorite guitar player, Zakk Wylde, takes his place. What's your thought? I mean, I'm sure you're a Pantera fan. What's your thoughts about Zakk Wylde going out taking Dimebag's place?
I thought it was, if anybody's gonna fill in for Dime, it's got to be Zakk or nothing.
Right.
Really. And I've been reading rumors of this for years. Never came to fruition. So I wasn't blindsided by the fact that it was Zakk. What blindsided me was how well it's working.
Yeah.
Have you seen the videos?
Yes, I have. It is working.
Dude,
very well.
I mean, it's good.
I thought with something like this going on, considering, what has happened, with Dime and with Vinny, I thought there would be a lot of backlash, but there hasn't been. And I mean, I think that's because you got somebody in there like Zakk. I mean, Zakk is well respected, and he knows the history of Pantera. He respects it. He's going to try to do it as close to Dime as he can. And I think that's had a lot to do with how well it's been received.
Yeah, but he's doing it like it. I thought they would sound like a Pantera cover band, but really they sound like their own band. Like, it doesn't sound like they're trying to sound like Dime and Vinny as much as it sounds like this is just a badass band. They just sound, they're killing it.
Yeah.
I haven't heard Phil sound that good since the 90s.
Yeah. They are definitely killing it right now for sure. Um, something you listen to, an artist you listen to that people will be surprised.
People would be surprised.
Now, I'll tell you this for me, I'm a Kiss fan. I like all the 80s rock and all that, but people would be surprised. I'm a huge Debbie Gibson fan.
Okay.
I've had a crush on Debbie Gibson since I was a kid. I've got CDs over there of hers, so that would be somebody that people would be surprised I listen to.
Okay. I'm a big Freddie Mercury fan.
Hey,
I'm not gonna say Elvis Presley. I've got a Elvis tattoo, so anybody that's seen my flesh before can probably see that I'm an Elvis fan. I watched that Live Aid Queen video maybe once every 2 weeks in its entirety. It's the best vocal performance I've ever seen in my life. I think in rock and roll.
An amazing thing about that was he was sick at the time.
Right.
And that guy was putting on a show like that. I mean, Freddie Mercury, people, as a kid, when Queen came out, I knew We Will Rock You, We Are the Champions. The older I got, the more I listened to some of their stuff and realized just how special Freddie Mercury was as a front man and as a singer. Everybody knows if you haven't headbanged to Bohemian Rhapsody like Wayne's World, then you haven't lived.
Right.
But Casey Childress said she's throwing her pick for somebody you listen to that we might be surprised at.
Okay.
Tupac.
Who?
She said Tupac.
Tupac.
She said, I'm just kidding. And now somebody's coming on. This is your wife is saying, oh boy, I don't know how
Let's
you're going to
hear it.
this. She said, he forgot to say Ariana Grande.
Yeah, I like some Ariana Grande for sure.
She's got a look. Let me tell you, when my daughter, I've got an 18-year-old daughter. When she was a kid, she used to watch that show on Nickelodeon that Ariana Grande was, and I could not stand her voice on that show. But as a singer, she's got a great voice. I love her voice. Yeah, it fits.
There's some of these pop girls that I Dua Lipa. She's another one that I like. Miley Cyrus put out a record a couple years ago that rips from front to back. I mean, if we had more time than split second questions, and I would start.
Oh yeah, you start naming.
They would start coming to me.
I got you.
But yeah, man.
So
yeah.
What's coming up for Justin Kaleb? What can we expect this year from Justin Kaleb?
Well, you can expect a new single. Well, you can expect a live video for Shaky Hand.
Okay.
It's coming out pretty soon. Another single coming out pretty soon. And then the record. The record hasn't been formally announced yet. I've just been kind of dropping things in nuggets. The artwork hasn't been released and all this stuff. But yeah, man, I'm fixing to unleash it. So
okay, well, we definitely want you to keep us posted on all that, and tell everybody where they can find you on social media, Spotify, Apple. Tell everybody where they can find you online.
Yeah, man, Spotify, pretty much all of the streaming services. I'm under Justin Kaleb. Apple Music is glitching out on us during this.
We had that talk.
Yeah, record campaign stuff's messing up on Apple Music, so I just have to wait that one out until they fix it on their end.
Right.
But Spotify, all that stuff, Justin Kaleb.
You got your website?
Social, yeah, justinkaleb.com. Instagram, I think it's Justin Kaleb Music. I can't keep up with them all. Just type Justin Kaleb in there.
Kaleb.com, and you can find all his links. He's on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Check him out, guys. Keep up with this guy. This guy's going to I think this guy's going to be a star. I really do. I like
You're,
Shaky Hand. I think Shaky Hand's going to take off, and I can't wait to hear new music from you, bud.
we didn't have enough time to talk about the hurry up, no huddle either.
No, we didn't. We didn't.
Another time.
We will get you on again. Look, let me tell you this. You're a Tennessee fan.
No, Arkansas.
No, I'm talking about pro.
Oh, pro. Okay.
So
See, we don't have pro where I'm from, so you say Tennessee, and I just think fall.
I know you're thinking you're an SEC guy, and SEC might as well be pro football. So
basically, yeah.
So what I can do what I do on my other podcast is bring, and I don't know how long you've been a Titans fan. You said that was pretty much to get a Saturday hangover.
Well, probably the last decade. I started following them when they were terrible. Whenever Locker was a quarterback, and man, they just kept fighting, and I just fell in love with them, man. The same thing, I fell in love with the Grizzlies whenever we first moved to town, because they were terrible, and they kept showing up, and and that Rocky mentality that I have as an artist, I identified with it.
Yeah,
identified with it, man.
Yeah. We'll bring you back on. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that next
time.
Bring
me on the sports podcast, man. We'll have a good time.
We'll bring you on there and talk about some Titans. What you think
Let's
about
do
the
it.
Titans this year.
Let's do it.
First of all, thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking time out. Thank you to Nicole at Brickshore Media for getting you on here and hooking me up with you. Really looking forward to hearing more stuff out of you, bud, and good luck to you. We wish you well. We'll definitely be supporting you here at On the Fly.
Thanks, Stevie. God bless you, brother.
And thanks to everybody that came in. And there's comments flying in now, buddy. Somebody said you like the Cheetah Girls, so.
Well, I've seen them play before. I think That's So Raven was sick or something that day. I didn't get to see her. I had a crush on her.
Yeah,
I thought she was smoking.
Maybe we'll bring you back on and talk about childhood crushes. Then that'll be a show right there. We may get in trouble for that though.
Yeah.
But, all right, guys, that's going to do it for tonight. Guys, that's Justin Kaleb, the Ozark Renegade, on the Fly.